Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. In this video, we're on the topic of can Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, take back, win back, or flip the Sunbelt state of Arizona in the 2024 presidential election. But before we get started, I do want to mention that we are approaching 1,000 subscribers, so make sure you are subscribed already. And mention we have channel memberships. The link to the channel memberships will be pinned in the comment section down below, or you can find them in the description section, or you can click the join button on my channel page. Become a member today. We have custom perks, custom emojis. Now back to the video. So Arizona previously went to incumbent President Joe Biden back in the 2020 election. He barely won it by under percentage point. His exact margin was 0.4%. That's as close as it gets, meaning Donald Trump nearly won the state. And in 2024, it's not going to be that hard. Now, there are a couple things that is favoring Biden in the state of Arizona for the 2024 election, which it's obviously going to be hard for no matter if it's Biden or Trump. Arizona to win it in 2024 is going to be hard for both Biden and Trump because they both are facing obstacles within the state specifically itself. And back in 2016, Trump won it by nearly 3.5 percentage points against Hillary Clinton. So it's on Trump's resume. He already did it, and maybe he can in 2024 with more of a disapproved Joe Biden, I would say. And we're taking a look at a president in Joe Biden in terms of approval that is under 40%. Yes, he's approved of by nearly 38 percentage points at the moment, and he's underwater by net negative 15%. Compared to Donald Trump, if you were taking a look at Donald Trump's point in office today, he was more approved of than Joe Biden. Trump had a 46% approval rating for Trump at this current time and point in time, and Joe Biden is sitting at 38%. So yes, Donald Trump was more approved over Joe Biden by nearly 8 points. And if Trump wants to win the state in 2024, he's going to have to do a couple things. And number one, obviously, he's going to have to do better in Maricopa County. And it's not going to be that hard. He can easily do it because Joe Biden's margin in this state was just so small. And Trump obviously won this by nearly 3% or about 3% in 2016. So you can argue it's actually harder for Biden to keep the state rather than harder for Trump to flip it. Because Trump's margin when he won it was more of a margin than when Biden won it. Some positives for Joe Biden heading into the 2024 election when we're talking about Arizona specifically. Number one, Donald Trump has attacked John McCain, their former senator, repeatedly, and he just does not stop bashing him. And Arizona, when it comes to Arizona voters, they are offended. They will be offended if you attack John McCain. And what has Donald Trump done? He has done exactly that. So if Donald Trump is serious, he should stop bashing John McCain, and instead he should really praise him, which he hasn't done at all. And that's one of the main reasons why Joe Biden won it back in 2020. Republican Party of Arizona hates populist type of candidates. They hate populism. And what is Donald Trump? He is a populist Republican. And the Arizona Republican Party is more of a, traditional Republican Party. They favor John McCain. They favor even Mitt Romney. And you take a look at John McCain's margin. He won it by nearly 11%, and then Mitt Romney won it by 7% in the general election. And then ever since the Trump era, it became competitive, and it went to Democrats in 2020. So you can see that Arizona Republican Party do not favor Donald Trump. Basically, neocons. MAGA Republicans call them neocons, and that's what the Republican Party of Arizona is basically. They're just neocons. To piss a lot of the John McCain lovers off of Arizona, and they make up a big majority in the Republican Party. Or Trump talks bad about John McCain, which he recently did a couple months ago. Recently in 2024 in a rally, Trump has made fun of John McCain's disabilities and whatnot, and made fun of his military performance. And that's going to turn off a lot of Arizona Republican voters off, meaning Trump won't get high turnout. And high turnout in the state of Arizona for Donald Trump is key in order for him to win the state. And it helped him in 2016. So current polling of the state of Arizona actually has Donald Trump. The current polling averages has Trump up by 5 percentage points in the state, which is more than the margin he got in 2016. But according to the projected margin, he's up by nearly 2 percentage points, which is considered a tilt margin. And you take a look at expert ratings, it suggests that it is a dead tie at the moment. And then betting markets actually favors Biden by 1 percentage point. So that's when you factor everything else in. So, do I agree with the polling averages which say they had Trump up by 5 in Arizona? No, I don't agree. I think it'll be way closer, and Biden might actually be able to win the state like he did in 2020. I think 5% is way too far for Trump, and if Trump were to win it, I believe it would be within 1 to 2%. So at the end of the day, can Donald Trump take back the state of Arizona and flip it from blue to red? Of course he can. He won it in 2016. Why can't he? Obviously. And he won it in 2016 by a greater margin than with the margin Biden won it. Biden only won it by 0.4. Trump won it by 3.5 percentage points. So it definitely can flip. It's a very high possibility. And considering the border crisis and what's happening with the Biden administration in terms of border crisis, it's looking terrible. And Trump on the issue of immigration is way more approved of than Joe Biden. And Arizona, keep in mind, is a border state. So considering Biden's doing bad on immigration / the border, typically would suggest that Donald Trump has a decent shot at actually flipping back the state of Arizona. And there's a couple things that can go in Trump's way, helping him actually flip the state. Number one is he would have to win over the undecided / independent voters, which is something that helped Biden win the state back in 2020. So if Trump can take away a lot of those voters, which I know a lot of independents or undecided voters might not turn out for Biden because back in 2020 he was seen as more of a moderate candidate and Trump was seen as, I would say, more of a far-right extremist. Well, now in 2024, things have shifted away from Biden's favor into Trump's favor because Biden is no longer seen as a moderate candidate like he was in 2020. He is seen as some old guy that is so disapproved of. So obviously, like I stated earlier, Donald Trump has to win over the John McCain-style voters. And yes, those voters exist, and they make up a huge majority of the Arizona Republican Party. And he should not offend them at all. And he's doing exactly that. He's talking bad about John McCain, and that's not going to help at all. But I think the border issue, the border crisis, might actually cancel out Trump bashing John McCain, meaning that if the border issue is really bad, it's bad enough to the point where Trump actually wins the state regardless if he makes fun of John McCain, regardless, because the border issue is just that bad. So voters might not turn out for Biden at all. And keep in mind, Arizona, in terms of futuristic-wise, is favoring Democrats. They recently just elected Mark Kelly for 3 times in a row in the Senate, and they recently, in the 2022 midterms, just elected a Democratic governor for the first time in a long time. Since when does Arizona vote in Democratic governors? They never have. And they did that in 2022 for the first time in a long time. I can't remember the last time Arizona voted for a Democratic governor in the governor's race. And Katie Hobbs, keep in mind, barely won. So this state can go either way, and Donald Trump, it's definitely up for grabs, and I honestly can see Trump winning it. But in a case or in a scenario where Biden does end up winning the state of Arizona, it's probably because the Republican-style, John McCain-style voters won't turn out for Trump because he keeps talking bad about John McCain. And another reason is because you have these Californians moving down south to the state of Arizona, which, as we all know, California is a solid, safe, democratic state. So you have these Californians moving down south to Arizona, help trending the state more blue, and that's what's happening in Arizona in terms of the shift. Californians are moving to Arizona, and it's going to help. They might bring their politics with them, and it's going to help Joe Biden. And that's the main reason why in the future, Arizona favors Democrats because Californians are migrating down to Arizona, and it's going to help trend the state in favor of Democrats. So in the future, Arizona is soon to be a Democratic state. That's pretty much it. Now, to answer the question of the title, can Donald Trump win back the state of Arizona in 2024? Most certainly he can, because Joe Biden's handling of the border is terrible. And number one issue, according to Arizona voters, I believe, is the border. So considering that fact, if the border is bad enough of an issue, I think Trump is in good spirits to win back a state like Arizona in 2024. And I would not be shocked if he did. Now, if Biden did win it, if Biden somehow does win it, I also won't be shocked because, like I mentioned earlier, in terms of recent shifts, recent trends, it's favoring Democrats. So let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Do you guys agree with me that Donald Trump most certainly can win back the state of Arizona in 2024? And what do you think his chances are? I would probably give him a 55% chance at doing so. And Joe Biden probably a 45% chance, just because you have these Californians moving to Arizona, trending the state in favor of Democrats. And also Trump bashing John McCain, which is going to offend a lot of Republican voters off, which they are called neocons, and it's going to turn them off, and they might not turn out for Donald Trump. So, like I mentioned earlier, the undecided voters, the independents, and high turnout is key for Donald Trump to win Arizona in 2024. And if the border issue remains as the number one issue of most Arizonans, then Trump would probably win, because, as we all know, Biden is so disapproved of in terms of immigration. And one last final reminder before I end out the video: we are approaching 1,000 subscribers, so make sure you are subscribed. And also, we have channel memberships in the description, pinned in the comment section, or you can click the join